from the wash process, which is the first stage that you do on any detail, this is the kind of dirt that we've managed to clean from the vehicle. So essential preparation and washing is key, because obviously you don't want to be rubbing this into the finish and making more damage to the car. Right, so here we have a Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe. Not particularly dirty, but we want to keep it in best condition possible, really. Obviously, depending on the amount of mileage you do, where the car lives, will depend on how often you want to wash the vehicle. And if you do leave it a little bit too long, contamination does start to stick to the paintwork. So it's key to keep on top of things, keep them nice. It saves you a lot of work down the road trying to fix things that possibly couldn't have happened if you'd washed it a little bit more often. Tree zap and road tar is a big problem, obviously from here down, kicking up from the road, from the tyres. And also, we can't forget the door shuts. A lot of people forget the door shuts, especially underneath here, where dirt can build up quite a lot. Just remember to do them last as well, because you don't want to mark up the wash poodle and obviously mark any of the other surface from any grit that you may have removed from the door shuts. Right, let's move on to wheel cleaning. Obviously we have brake dust, iron filings from the brake caliper, obviously exposed to this beautiful wheel, so we need to rinse it off first so we can remove all the grains and granules and iron filings and bits of dirt and stone that we don't want to rub into the finish. So rinsing off carefully, make sure that you have a good sort of 10 inches away from the tyre. Don't want to obviously pierce the tyre with the high pressure jet hose. Right, let's move on to cleaning and rinsing it. Right, so now we've carefully rinsed the wheel off. Luckily, the owner keeps very good care of this, so we don't have any embedded iron filings, luckily. If we did, we would be using the Swissvax Forte wheel spray, which will dissolve all the iron filings, which turn to purple. Very effective products. But today we don't need that. We just need a very light wheel mix, which is water and wheel mix in here. Let's spray this on in a second. Here we have our bucket of wash solution, obviously to rinse out our brushes and our wheel woolly. This is essential, obviously, for getting inside of the back of the rim, which we can't reach, and obviously the Swissvax wheel brush for the faces. So let's spray a bit on. Make sure you get a nice even coverage, and then just get the Swissvax wheel brush and very carefully give it a wipe over. Just make sure you don't miss any bits, and good to obviously rinse out the wheel brush as you go. Same principle when you're washing the vehicle, to have the 2-bucket method as such, and rinse the sponge. So now it's the wheel woolly to get inside the deep inside the dish. Just be very careful not to obviously bash the brake disc and caliper. Make sure that you double up and crisscross your motions. I tend to usually wash a wheel twice just to overlap everywhere, just to make sure that I have got all the areas. There's nothing worse than moving your car back into the garage and noticing a part that you've missed, maybe underneath here that you can't see. Another way is to move the car forward so you can obviously get to the other side and see it. But yeah, these wheel woolies are very effective. Been using these for many, many years. Very long lasting. For the sort of weekend enthusiasts, these are going to last many years. They last me a year plus, using every day, so you could see a good benefit of a few years from weekend users. We'll just give the caliper a little wipe as well with the wheel woolly, just to finish the wheel off. Nothing worse than a dirty caliper shining through a nice perfect wheel, especially considering they're chrome. And you can always get the brush if there's any intricate areas on the caliper that you need to attend to. Right, let's give that a rinse off and see how it's looking. Hey, yeah, looking pretty clean. As you can see, the protection's holding up well on the inside from the water beading. Yep, I'm very happy with that. Super clean. So here we have Swissvax drying towel, which we're going to very carefully dry the wheel face. If you've got access to compressed air, this can be quite handy, obviously, to blow the water off inside. So here we have two buckets, the twin grit guard bucket system from Swissvax. Obviously we have the grit guards in the bottom, where all the grit can sit underneath. This one has our wash media in, and that will obviously have shampoo in, where this will have our rinse water. So once we've washed the panel, we rinse it out in here, so we're not transferring the dirt from the car back into our wash mitt, and it always remains in the dirty buckets. Right, so now we're going to move on to washing the vehicle. Obviously we've already filled up our 2-bucket method. The next is the rinse procedure. So with a high-power jet wash, you need to make sure that you keep the nozzle away from the tyres and at least 10 to 12 inches away from any intricate bits like the rubbers, intricate areas like the door lock, and any particular vulnerable pieces that may be not really happy about having high pressure water squirted too far. So you wouldn't want it obviously that close. You need to keep it about sort of 10 to 12 inches away from lights and indicators. So yeah, let's get on with rinsing. As you can see from the beading properties on the roof here, it's very well protected already, so yeah, no need to wax it anymore at the moment, but maybe in 6 months just to keep up the protection to its maximum. Right, so now we've rinsed the vehicle thoroughly, we can now use the 2-bucket method with our wash poodle and lavish shampoo. Always starting from the top, work your way down, always straight lines, and obviously leaving this bit and further down to the last. If you need to use another bucket system and clean it, you can do, obviously, to do the door shuts and the wheel arches. But I think this car's pretty well clean and very well protected, so we shouldn't need to do that. Right, let's get on with washing. Obviously our wash poodle here is exceptionally soft, so it's going to be very delicate for the paintwork. We just want to remove, with no pressure at all really, we don't need to scrub the paintwork, we just need to glide it across and let the shampoo and the suds do the work. So this is our rinse bucket, just want to double check, make sure that there's nothing that we don't want. Nope, that's all perfectly clean. Yeah, we get a lot of bugs and tar on the windshield, but it's not too bad, this. So into your rinse bucket again, and back into the shampoo. See, I'm applying no pressure, hardly at all. Right, let's move on to the last bit, which is the door shuts. Obviously, you don't want too much soap and water in there because they're going to flood the interior. But you may be asking, why do we want a hand wash? Why not just take it to the automated car wash? Well, as you've probably seen, they have some very vicious and hard material on their brushes, which go round and round and beat the car, and that's what's going to put in defects, essentially. And ruin the finish and shine of the vehicle. but also they're very heavily, a lot of heavy chemicals are used in car washes just to get the car clean. Not necessarily going to care for the car, but just get the dirt off quick, really. Obviously, with all Swissvax products, they're biodegradable, so you wouldn't really get that at the local automatic car wash, especially not for sort of £2-3. Right, we're going to rinse the vehicle off now. Obviously, through this is 0 ppm water, which is through a filter system. So you get no calcium, any watermarks if you're washing outside. So obviously you can use a drying towel, or you can use compressed air and blow the vehicle off. The compressed air becomes very handy when you have the intricate bits where you need to blow water out of gaps and cracks. Right, well that's all dry now and all washed. You could, in theory, now give it a clay if required, and obviously apply your favourite Swissvax. But obviously we know that this doesn't need waxing, so this is all ready to go back to the client.